The transit right now is the scientist archetype, and the scientist is in transit from July 13th to July 18th. This is the gate of detail. In the I Ching, we call it the preponderance of the small. In the Gene Keys, the shadow is intellect, the city is impeccability, and the human pathway is precision. First, we're looking at the 62 from an I Ching perspective. So here we are in the part of the wheel that has the trigram mountain on the bottom. So all of these different archetypes are going to have mountain on the bottom. And in this specific case, we are going to see that we have thunder over mountain. So thunder over thunder would be the same as saying gate or gene key or hexagram 51. Mountain over mountain is hexagram 52. So we could say that the energy of the 62 is a combination of the elemental energy of the 51 and the 52. So the shadow of intellect is agitated stress. The gift of precision is initiative with restraint. And the city of impeccability is awakening in stillness. And here we're looking at the astrology. So we are in Cancer. The archetypes for Cancer: life bringer, nurturer, caregiver. It is service to the other through the caring waters of unconditional love. Cardinal water. So first time in the wheel that we are meeting water. And then the second time we're going to be in fixed water in Scorpio. The third time mutable water in Pisces. We have the moon as the ruler. The fourth sign and the fourth house are connected. So it has a lot to do with home and creating home wherever we go. There is a tendency to look back and get a little bit stuck in the past and have that kind of emotional attachment to what has been. And here we're looking at the other side of the wheel. So if we have the 62 in Cancer, we're going to have the 61 in Capricorn. They are creating this axis of integration between those two signs and those two gates. We also see that they are perfect mirror opposites when it comes to the hexagram. So wherever the 62 has a yin line, we're going to see a yang line in the 61 and vice versa. And we are in the part of the wheel that we call the quarter of civilization. Here, the purpose is fulfilled through form. So if you have any of these gates as your sun gate, you probably like things to be tangible and you want to see them and touch them. That's also connected to the signs that you have here on the bottom. And then we're looking at the body graph. So like we said before, it's the gate of detail. The throat center is the center for communication, expression, and manifestation, also metamorphosis. We have a lot of gates, a lot of archetypes that live in the throat, and a lot of throat gates this part of the year with Gemini and Cancer and even Taurus. Here we're looking at the whole channel. So the 62 and the 17, the channel of acceptance. This is the design of an organizational being. I have the 62 in my north node on the design side. Ashely has the 17 in her chart. So partly what we have been doing with Unlock Your Design is to organize a lot of material that has to do with Gene Keys Human Design and astrology. The theme here: you have the mental ability to see the bigger picture without getting overwhelmed by the details. Do take time to look over the relevant facts and details. And then we have keywords for the scientist: language, expansion, and light; for the discoverer, curiosity, patterns, and logic. Then when we look at the whole entire channel, the process there is also something we can look at in a frequency band. So this comes from integral human design. When we have intellect and opinion as the shadows, that is the shadow of dismemberment. And when we have precision and farsightedness, that is the gift of organization. And when we have impeccability and omniscience, that is the city of holism. And here we're looking at the circuitry. So we already saw that one channel, which is part of the collective circuitry, where the keynote is sharing. Here specifically, we are going to be on the in the circuit that we call the understanding circuit. It's the logical side. It's where we see patterns and we improve patterns and we walk into the future doing it a little bit more organized, a little bit better than what we've done before. So collectives sharing, and it's the understanding circuit. And here we're looking at another way of approaching the hexagrams. So we see again that we have thunder on top of mountain, and it's connected to astrology in the sense the thunder is the initiating energy. So thunder is connected to Aries. So you see a 1 here, the first sign, the first house, and you see the red color. What's on top is the background. So we are in an environment here of Aries or of thunder. And then the little guy, he is the bottom trigram, which is mountain, and mountain is connected to Libra. So that is more balancing. You can see the way he sits, it's very balanced. And similar here, we have a combination of Libra and Aries, or first house and seventh house. Actually, opposites on the wheel, if we want to think about it in an astrological sense. We have two energies in this one that are quite different. And then we can look at it a little bit deeper. So here we are also shown that there are inner hidden trigrams. So if we don't look at the top one and the bottom one, we're going to see that we have wind and we have lake as hidden trigrams inside. So that gives us a recommendation and a little bit more explanation, which actually creates this kind of braid. So for the 62, the word that Sergio chose was to structure or structuring. And this is in order to leave only the essential. We want the structure so that what isn't relevant falls away. And then with the hidden trigrams inside, what we see as the recommendation is to work on the object, like work on the purpose, on the thing, which is Virgo connected to Taurus, because that is the inner trigrams of lake and of wind that are connected to Taurus and Virgo, and that is the work of Virgo, and then the object, right, the thing is Taurus. So it's all a play that what he does with colors, but also looking at the I Ching from an astrological standpoint to be able to understand something that's not always clear. What is lake? What is thunder? If we connect them back to the astrological signs, then it is a little bit easier to get them. Here we have from the Lost Octave, the 62 is one of those that are in the book specifically. And Robbie is speaking about the process here of God giving the people of Israel protection, but they need to follow his law. When we go back to what I said with Cancer, that is quite connected to the tribal circuitry. We are a family. Here we have these rules, whether it's like God and the humans or it's in a family. The main parent, maybe the mother or the father, decides that this is how we live here. And then you need to accept that in order to be loved, in order to be accepted. Here we have nourishment, we have guidance, and we have attunement. So nourishment when we are coming home and when we are coming home with others. There's also, of course, a guidance, but is that a guidance that comes from authority? We can think about it as the authority that the 18, for example, doesn't like. So what is true guidance or facilitation? And then an attunement. That's something we spoke about as well when we started Cancer season, where I said Cancer is also about creating home wherever you go. So the attunement that it's not always your origins and your roots that are your home, but there is a constant attunement with what's around you and a constant being able to navigate together, and that creates nourishment. There is something with the Cancer overarching theme that we did speak about when we opened Cancer. When it comes to the 62, is that it cares about accuracy, because it seems like everything that is in the collective circuitry, its patterns, its logic. So it cares about things being accurate. And because it's on this axis with Cancer and Capricorn, it seems like it cares about accuracy in those themes that have to do a lot with family. So I can see people that have the 62 strongly, they actually really care about family, but sometimes they do it almost because they think they have to, not necessarily because that is home for them anymore. So that is something to check yourself. Do you go back? Do you help? Do you care about family? Maybe your parents and extended family just because it's part of the framework, what you should do, or are you doing it really because it is a true nurturing? And what is a healthy way to tune to family? And more important than anything, how do you create home wherever you go?